The scariest thing with narcissistic abuse is that a lot of the times the victim doesn't even realize that they're being controlled until it's too late. Until you're either completely devastated, hurt, or discarded, or perhaps you're not and you're ending the relationship, but you have been through years of manipulation, gaslighting, emotional abuse. A narcissist on some level has taken control over your mind, your emotions, and even your reality. And the hard pill to swallow for a lot of people is the fact that this was something that you unknowingly gave this person control over. You gave them power over your emotions, your reality, and your mind. Of course, you didn't know you were doing this, but today we are going to end all of that. A narcissist at its core is a person who has a sense of insecurity and extreme need for control. They need the validation, they need the admiration because they have that fragile ego, and that ego needs those things, craves those things, requires those things in order to actually live. Beneath the surface of that calm, confident, charming type of person is a person who is extremely insecure and doesn't have a solid sense of self, doesn't really even have any sense of self. That person will crave that constant need for reinforcement. And this need for control means that I have to create these different tactics in order to gain control over you. Instead of them just dealing with their stuff like normal, healthy people do, this is where the chaos starts. They can be charming, they can be confident, they can be this great person in front of others, or maybe even in the beginning of your relationship, but over time, everything completely changes. You start to notice these patterns start to make you question what it is that you're actually seeing or what it is that you innately are feeling, because your intuition never lies. Why do narcissists need control? That's probably the big question that we're answering here. It all boils down to them needing to protect their ego. Their ego needs safety, and control equates safety to a narcissist. If they can control you, your thoughts, your emotions, how you think, how you feel, then what that does is they're controlling how you feel, so that creates a shield around that ego. So by keeping everything at bay, meaning I'm keeping everything under how I want it to look, how I want it to be. So I'm controlling you, I'm controlling the situation, I'm controlling all these areas of my life. And if I can do that, then I don't have to feel the two things that I don't want to feel, which is exposed and vulnerable. Let me explain that. For most of us, vulnerability is a part of life. It's something that we've all experienced, and sometimes it's very uncomfortable, and sometimes it actually can make us heal. For most people, vulnerability is something that is really difficult to do, especially if you're wounded. Even though it might be something that's been hard for even you to do in your own life, it's still something that's somewhat manageable. For someone who's narcissistic, that is absolutely not the case. Vulnerability to a narcissist is absolutely terrifying. It's not even something that's even remotely on their radar. It's not something that they want to do. They don't want to be able to expose themselves and get deep with a person and, have that rock, have that soulmate. Whereas you or I, if you're a little wounded and you have some abandonment stuff or anything that you possibly have been through, you kind of almost crave vulnerability. On one level, you've put up a wall to it, but on another level, you actually still deeply crave it. That level of vulnerability is an absolute threat. It threatens their ego, it threatens their sense of power over you. If they lose control, then they run the risk of feeling uncomfortable. They also run the risk of having to face truths about themselves. So when you or I have been vulnerable and it's been uncomfortable, it's because maybe we did something wrong, maybe we said the wrong thing, we weren't our best selves. And we all know what that feels like. Of course, it feels uncomfortable, but it also helps to kind of shape us and change us and help us to grow into a better version of ourselves. We learn from those experiences. We're not so deeply wounded that we're covered in such levels of shame that we cannot overcome being uncomfortable in that level of vulnerability. To someone who's narcissistic, this is the one thing that they don't want to do, because this is the one area of life that they never want anyone to see. They don't want anyone to see that they're not perfect. They don't want anyone to see that they did something wrong. They don't really want to hear how their behavior hurt you. They don't want to appear like they're really not that powerful, like they're really not that strong. Basically, they don't want to appear human. And if you can't appear to be human, that means that you're not going to be able to connect with another human, because how you connect emotionally is through vulnerability. One of the things that they will absolutely crave, because they're not going to expose themselves, or nor are they going to be vulnerable whatsoever, is this perfect image. Everything is perfect, beautiful life, beautiful family, beautiful money. We're so incredibly happy. Everything is just picture perfect all the time. Whether it's being seen as the smartest person in the room, or the most successful, most desirable, the best family. Of course, we all know that this image is just a facade. But unfortunately, if you're wounded, you're gonna fall right into that trap of just believing the facade, feeding into the facade. Because deep down, they don't really believe that they're actually good enough. They don't believe that anyone really cares about any of these things. It's one of those things that the more they say it, eventually they do start to believe it. If you start questioning them or even challenging them in any way, you're basically throwing a stone at that mirror that they've created. And if you throw a rock at that glass house, be prepared for backlash. They can't handle the cracks. They don't want to see the cracks. They don't want you to even expose the cracks. That's why they're going to do whatever it takes, whether it's silent treatment, gaslighting, manipulation, cutting you at your needs, triangulation. I mean, the list goes on and on of things that they're going to try to do to now hurt you for trying to throw a stone at that glass house. The real question with all of this, I think, is why do we fall for it? Like, why do we fall for all these tactics? Why do we allow them to control us on these levels? They are very masterful at making you believe that everything that they're doing is in your best interest. They'll twist things around and make it seem like they're actually helping you when they're not. It always comes back to their own agenda. It's probably the number one thing that they're always going to do, and that is they're going to try to gaslight you. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to doubt that you're not really a good person, or you're not a good parent, or you don't have your child's best interest at heart, or that didn't really happen, or that, oh no, I did say that, you just forgot. They want you to doubt who you are, because if they can do that, then they can have control over how you feel about yourself. The only way you can be that strong of a person is if you've healed from codependency. If you have not worked on healing from codependency, you are still going to doubt yourself in an unhealthy way, because you're going to stay in doubt a little too long. Or the minute someone even questions you, you automatically think that they're correct. The scary thing is just the level in which narcissists will take this in order to really have you doubt your own reality. So it could be constant reinforcing of, no, that didn't happen. No, that didn't happen. And at a certain point, you start to go, wait a minute, did it happen? It's okay to question yourself for a second, but you have to be able to reinforce yourself what actually did happen or how you actually do feel. So as much as this person is trying to hammer at you, you have to be right behind that voice saying, no, this did happen. No, this did happen. Because whatever you repeat, whatever you absorb does become your reality. So the more you listen to that person and them doubting you, and you're not fixing it, you're not reinforcing your part or your reality, eventually, yeah, you're going to start to believe them. And this is where they start to have control over you. Love bombing is one of the things that every person who's been in a narcissistic relationship can look back and say, yep, that's what this was all about in the beginning. Whether you were with a man, whether you were with a woman, it doesn't matter what their tactics were, but the point of it is to reel you in. This person is kind of testing you. I'm going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to be Prince Charming. I'm going to be the woman of your dreams. And how you respond to that really will determine how much this person keeps giving you those things. It's normal to eat that stuff up, because who doesn't want to feel desired? Who doesn't want to feel important? Who doesn't want to feel loved or wanted or any of those ways? The deal breaker is when you're in dating, understanding what dating is about and understanding the difference between real love and real connection versus fake. Because love is not quick, love is very steady, and love is very slow. Real love will accept you and build you up, and fake love just wants to tear you down and make you feel bad about who you are and where you come from and what you want and how you feel. Real love is about partnership, it's about respecting what you have to say, and whereas fake love is really just about power and control. And real love takes responsibility, and fake love will just blame you. When you are struggling with codependency, one of the worst things that a person can do to you is give you the silent treatment. It is the most uncomfortable thing that you will ever go through. And if you are codependent and you know what this feels like, where it just feels so incredibly uncomfortable for someone to be mad at you or upset with you, then please comment down below, because I need to know where you people are, because that was definitely me for a very long time. You're either gonna have two types of narcissists. You're gonna have the person that's gonna give you the silent treatment, where you get into an argument and they just go cold turkey. Like, that's it. Like, we're not talking about it. Or you're gonna have the other person who almost does the complete opposite of the silent treatment, where they're going to talk about it at nauseum, because what they're trying to do is they want to wear you down so you believe that you're actually the problem. They'll have a very brief moment in that conversation where they acknowledge the things that they did wrong, but the basis of this conversation has to do with you and your flaws and picking at you. There's no accountability on themselves. There's just a brief, let me check that box that I at least acknowledge that I do this wrong sometimes. But the conversation always is focused around you. because this person loves to talk, they love to go around and around, they love to hear their own words, and they love to make you out to be the problem. Not every narcissist is going to cheat, not every narcissist is going to kind of jump ship, but I will say this person is not going to leave this relationship unless they have something else lined up. There's a couple of reasons for this. The first reason is because they need attention, they need admiration, they need someone to believe that they are God's gift, someone who is not going to question them, not hold them accountable, not going to challenge them whatsoever. Call it a trophy wife, call it a person who's just severely codependent, severely insecure themselves, severely just wants to either be validated or have someone in their life, much probably like how you wanted at one point in your life. But this person is on some levels you to some extent. Now I know that triggers a lot of people, but the truth of the matter is that this person is believing the lies that you once believed as well. This aspect of them either moving on really quickly at the end of your relationship, right after the relationship, or possibly just bringing someone else into the mix. This is only done, whether it's, bringing your sister into the mix and it's between you and your mom's the one who's narcissistic. Like, there's so many different types of examples, but bringing someone else in very quickly to kind of be on their side, so to speak, all this does, or all this is trying to do, is to make you feel less than. Bringing this other person into the mix, this new relationship, I can't believe you cheated on me. I can't believe you were having an affair. I can't believe we just broke up and now already you're moving in with someone else. I can't tell you how many times I've heard ridiculous situations, let alone living through one myself, but where this person just completely detached in such a way, and it confuses you because you can't understand what's happening. The only reason why this works is because you have no idea what's actually happening. You are taking this as a personal attack. I can't believe you brought my sister into this. I can't believe you leaving me for someone else. I can't believe you're already engaged and we broke up 2 months ago. Like, because you're in such shock by what's happening and you don't understand what's happening, that this is, number one, having to do with them constantly needing a supply and probably finding someone that was, I don't want to say more gullible than you, but definitely someone that is way more wounded than you, that actually believes this person, believes that they're this great person, believes all the lies. How sad. How sad. Can we all be honest with each other for a second? That sucks for that person. But anyways, there's that happening. And there's also the aspect of, I just want to punish you. A lot of the times, especially when there's cheating involved and affairs, it has nothing to do with this person being better than you or any of those things. It is just about punishment. What they're doing is they try to use this new person to make you feel like you just weren't enough, or that they finally have found something better, or that this was actually the type of person that they really wanted when they didn't really want you, when at one point you were the love of their life. Makes no sense. They're using this person to be able to validate their own actions. And of course, they're doing it to make you then question your own worth. And because you don't know what's happening, because you haven't watched this video yet, but now that you are, you understand what's happening. You didn't realize what was going down before. You didn't understand, and so you took it personally, and your self-worth was affected, and your self-esteem, it did take a little hit. But now that's not going to happen anymore, because now you know what's actually going on. Whether you're in a relationship with someone who's narcissistic, you're coming out of it, it's a family member, this is all about you understanding how this person controls you. Not being controlled by this person is not something that's going to just happen overnight. You're going to understand this, of course, logically, and watch it again and again and again if you need to remember this stuff, but you're going to understand it logically, but emotionally you're still going to feel hurt. You're still going to feel less than. You're still going to feel frustrated. That codependency is still going to come through. That's why it's so important to understand how to take care of yourself emotionally and mentally. When you are coming out of these relationships, it is so much that you have to do in terms of rebuilding yourself. You can ignore all of this. You can do absolutely no work, and you will 100% still be the same person. And if you're going to have to go through, or if you've been through this really difficult situation, you want to get something out of this. You want this person to have taught you something about yourself, and not something that's just covered in negativity, like you can't trust people, or that all men cheat, or all women are this. We don't want to put those labels on relationships and people. We want to learn not just about outside people, of course that's important, but we also want to learn about ourselves, and we want to be able to heal not just from this relationship, but from a lot of things that were inside of us even prior to ever meeting this person. When I work with people, one of the first things that we go over is the past. And we sit there for a minute, we understand what are all the wounds and all the triggers that are still living inside of you. Talking about rejection, abandonment, not feeling good enough, not feeling seen, not being heard by people, like all of those things that are a lot of things stemming from childhood and even into your adult life. And being able to heal your emotional stuff is, I mean, it's absolutely the first step. You're not going to rebuild your sense of self and all of a sudden be so incredibly confident if you still have this huge daddy issue from when you were like 6 years old, or you're still triggered by men because you've been rejected and left so many times. So all of that stuff absolutely needs to happen. And then of course you have to be able to start really learning how to parent yourself and practice this stuff. And the only way you can really practice how to parent yourself is by setting goals. So when we are coming out of these relationships, there's so many areas within ourselves that we're working on healing from some of that stuff from the past. And we're also like working on our future and like setting goals and thinking about what it is that I want for my life right now. What do I want the next year to look like, the next 5 years? Like, what is the goal? And it could be little things and it could be big things. It can be, I want to start that business, I want to make $1 million, or I just want to be happy and I don't want to feel depressed anymore. It could be so many different things. And it's something that we go over in my masterclass. If you guys have not registered for it, I definitely urge you to take advantage of this opportunity where you can learn all of these aspects. You're going to learn about narcissism. You're going to learn about how to heal from emotional wounds like abandonment, rejection, betrayal, all of those things, which most of us, not most of us, I mean, every single person walking this earth has experienced abandonment on some level. So everyone is walking around with that wound. Everyone on some levels is walking around with I'm not enough and feeling like they're not enough. A big aspect of not being healthy is the fact that you just didn't learn how to emotionally take care of yourself. You either learn that we're just gonna sweep this under the rug, or why should I feel this way? You learned a lot of shame, a lot of judgment, a lot of invalidation, but you didn't learn emotional health. And most people don't know how to take care of themselves emotionally. And that's where all these problems are stemming from. That's a reason why you keep attracting these people. It's because you just don't know how to take care of yourself emotionally. So if you are interested, I will link that masterclass down below for you guys to register. It's the new year. Let's get it started on a good foot. Actually take the time to invest in yourself. You invest in so many other things, other people, your kids, your family, relationships, your job. How many people can say that they honestly take the time to just do this little bit of work? I've coached so many people over the years that have said to me, wow, this really doesn't take that long at all. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It just takes consistency. It's about knowing this stuff and being consistent with it. And the good thing is that whenever you need it, you can just resort back to it. I hope you guys are well. Take care. Happy New Year. And I'll see you in the next video.